What's up YouTube, this is BostonX79. I'm coming to you with my latest deck profile video for the January 28th, 2019 ban list, which went in effect this Monday. Now, one of the decks that benefited from the list was what we're covering today, Domain Monarchs. We actually got multiple copies of the Monarch Stone 4th back, and that's just so huge for this deck because now we can actually turn around and combat certain meta decks a lot better by using the Storm 4th to extend onto my opponent's field and using their monsters as tribute fodder for our own monsters. Alright? It just works so freaking well, and I'm enjoying the fact that it's back. So without further ado, we're going to get right into this. We're going to start off by talking about our engine cards, and our first engine card is going to be Eddie the Heavenly Squire. Alright? Whenever Eddie is normal special summon, you can turn around and target another monster that has 800 attack and 1000 defense, and special summon it to the field. The monster that we're going to be summoning off it is going to be one of the 3 copies of Eidos the Underworld Squire. Alright, now when Eidos hits the field, you get an extra tribute summon during your turn, which is just so completely huge. Both Eddie and Eidos also have graveyard effects. Whenever Eddie hits the graveyard and you have a banished Monarch spell and trap card, you can actually add one of those cards that were banished back to your hands. Awesome. Eidos has an awesome graveyard effect. Basically, while it's in the graveyard, you can banish it and special summon an Eddie that's in the graveyard. And when Eddie hits the field, it special summons the Eidos, and you get that extra normal tribute, so you see the engine, how it works there. Alright? I like running a 3 and 3. It just works. You want to see Eddie in your hand the most. Because of that, it's a warrior tribute monster, a warrior trap type monster, so we do run reinforcement of the armies, and we also run this card, 1 copy of Photon Thrasher. This way we have a monster to get things started. Now, Photon Thrasher is a completely, totally awesome card because you can search it off of reinforcement of the army, special summon it to your field when you control no monsters, and this card is just so great while you're going first or second. Alright. That's it for the small level monsters. We go for level 6s. We have 1 copy of Caius the Shadow Monarch. Okay. It targets 1 card on the field and then banishes it. And if it happens to be a Dark Tribute monster, you're going to hit your opponents with 1,000 points of damage. So if your opponent's low on life points, you can summon this guy out, target himself, banish it. Your opponent gets hit with the 1,000 points, and you're going to pretty much win the duel. I mean, it's an awesome way to win the duel like that. You can also turn around and use it to lower your opponent's life points in time. Just saying, great card. Okay. Karaz, the Light Monarch. I only run 1 copy. I kind of find multiple copies kind of cloggy at times. 1 typically for me is all I need. Whenever it's summoned, you target 2 cards on the field, destroy them, and the owner of those cards get to draw cards to replace them. Typically, you're going to be summoning this guy to your field and popping stuff on your side of the field. Pretty much including himself to get a +1. Alright. Going forward, we have Majesty's Fiend. Alright, this is not a Monarch card, but it does have a Monarch stat line, 2400 attack, 1000 defense. When this card hits the field, no monster effects are being activated. It doesn't matter where they're being activated. Hand, field, graveyard, banished. They're not being activated. No monster effects. It's a lockdown card. It's searchable off of return, which makes it huge for this deck. And the other lockdown card we're actually running is its counterpart, Vanity's Fiend. This card hits the field, no special summons, period, at all, and from anywhere. Alright, bad news about both these cards, they can't be special summoned, which makes it hard, and Vanity's Fiend can't be searched, basically because it has 1200 defense. I know, it sucks, but if you could get a situation where you can get both of these cards on the field, you're pretty much in a position to win. So, going into the level 8s, Caius the Mega Monarch. Alright, Caius is basically an evolved version of the Caius the Mega Monarch is an evolved version of the original Caius. Basically, you can target cards on the field, banish them if they're Dark Tribute monsters. You're banishing all copies of that card from the field, graveyard, main deck, and extra deck. So, in a particular matchup, say, I don't know, against Thunder Dragons, you can actually just bring this card out with, like, Escalation, target a Colossus as soon as it hits the field, and you're getting rid of all that Colossus. Alright? That makes this card so awesome. And if you use a Dark Tribute monster to tribute summon, you can actually target 2 monsters on the field. Or 2 cards on the field, excuse me. and it does inflict burn damage as well on your opponent. So, again, time regulations. Alright. You have either the Heavenly Monarch. She's at 1, and for good reasons. In Link format, she could be so abusable by putting so much pressure on the board. You contribute summon her by tributing a tribute summon monster. Okay. When she hits the field, you could send up to two, or actually no, 2 Monarch spell and trap cards from your hand and or deck to the graveyard to special summon out another card that's 2400 attack or more, and 1000 defense. Typically, it's going to be Karaz to get the +1s going to help the deck flow a little bit more. Alright? Another thing is that you can actually, during your opponent's turn, you could pitch a card from your hand to basically tribute summon this Aether from your hand during your opponent's turn. So that makes what makes her so huge. Combined with a tribute summon effect, you could actually put 2 2000 attack point monsters on the field, and your opponent might not be in a good position to actually deal with that field. Alright. 3 copies of Erebus. He is the big dark daddy of the deck. Tribute summon by tributing a tribute summon monster. Say that's 5 times fast. Okay. Send 2 Monarch spell and trap cards from your hand and or deck to your graveyard to spin a card back from your opponent's field, randomly from their hand or their graveyard back to their deck. So that's just awesome. While this card sits in the graveyard, you can discard a Monarch spell and trap card to the graveyard and target one of your monsters that have 2400 or more attack and 1000 defense and add it back to your hand. So it does have a recurability. That's the reason why we run 3. Get them into the graveyard fast, and you can actually start recurring a lot more stuff out of the graveyard. Okay. Domain Monarchs wouldn't be complete without 3 copies of Domain of the True Monarchs. Okay. This card is completely and totally awesome. While you control a tribute summon monster and no cards in your extra deck, your opponent's not extending into their extra deck. So it's kind of a very nasty lockdown card. Alright. It actually allows very awesome combo play, on which I'm going to talk about the next spell card, but it reduces monsters in your hands levels by 2, so that makes them a little bit more summonable if you have level 6s in your hands, or it turns a level 8 into a level 6. Alright, and last but not least, any tribute summon monsters, when they attack, they gain an extra 800 attack points, which is an awesome boost to help you get over some more problematic monsters if you have to attack over them. Alright, now comboing off of that level modulation effect, you have 2 copies of Celestial Observatory. Basically, you take a level 6 monster from your field or your hand, put it on the bottom of your deck, and you draw 2 cards. I can't tell you how excited when I saw this card in Cybernetic Horizons last year. This card is so important to Monarch decks now. It's so underrated, basically because of that. Seriously, if you're running Monarchs, get this card in your deck. No excuses. Alright, moving on. 1 copy of March of the Monarchs. It's another Monarch spell and trap name in the deck, which you need. If it hits the field, your opponent's not targeting or destroying your tribute summon monsters with card effects. So it's an awesome protection card to have. And typically, if you can get something on like this, Domain, and maybe Erupt, you're going to have a situation where you're going to be in position to get for game. Alright? 1 for 1, this is one of the cards that you use to get to Edia faster since you want to see her the most. Pitch a unwanted monster from your hand, special summon Edia. Pantheism, ditch a Monarch spell trap card from your hand that you don't need. Draw 2 cards, awesome. While it's in the graveyard, banish it. Reveal 3 Monarch spell and trap cards from your deck. Your opponent chooses 1 to add to your hand. The others get shuffled back in your deck. It's an awesome way to get what you need, especially if you just flash 3 copies of the same card. In my opinion, this should have came down the list as well. Reinforcement of Army, get to Edia faster card, and also get you a full-time Thrasher. Return of the Monarchs helps with the consistency of the deck by getting you your Monarch cards. Anything that's 2400 or more attack and 1000 defense, you get added right to your hand when you tribute summon. Awesome card. Alright. 2 copies of Share Ride, because this card punishes your opponent for going nuts and allows you to draw into some very necessary pieces. Alright. Tenacity of the Monarchs, 3 copies of this card flash a monster with 2400 or more attack and 1000 defense, and search out any Monarch spell and trap card you need. And last but not least, the guy who came off the list, and the reason why I'm loving this deck so much even more now, the Monarch Stormforth. Quick play spell, non-targeting, allows you to utilize your opponent's monsters for tribute summons. Just so awesome. Alright, and going forward, it combos extremely well with Escalation of Monarchs. Trap card that allows you to tribute summon during your opponent's turn. Comboing this with the Monarch Stormforth, this allows you to utilize your opponent's monsters while they're building their fields, and it hurts them very well. Alright, 2 copies of the Monarch's Erupt. Basically, as long as you don't have any cards in your extra deck and you control a tribute summon monster, guess what? Your opponent's not activating monster effects unless those monsters were tribute summoned. Awesome hold down card, it just helps makes the deck even better. And last but not least, we have the Prime Monarch. While it stays up in the field, you can actually recur your Monarch spells and trap cards to actually draw cards, which is awesome. While it's in the graveyard, you banish another Monarch spell and trap card to special summon this card as a monster. It does not, and when you do that, it doesn't count as a trap card. It just counts as a monster, and it becomes tribute fodder for your deck. Alright guys, that's it for my Domain Monarch deck profile for the January 28th, 2019 ban list. Alright, guys, as always, if you like the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more content like this on my channel, make sure to hit subscribe, ring the notifications so you don't miss a single upload. Guys, I am having a Savage Strike box giveaway. I'm literally going to be doing the drawing on Monday, so if you haven't already, look at the end screens, look for the Volcanic Stun deck profile, click on that, go to there. If you haven't already, like, subscribe on that video as well. Go down into the comments and comment I want in if you want to be put into the drawing for a box of Savage Strike. Alright? Guys, until Monday, peace!